Okay, so I'm on a walk and I realize there's been something that's been bothering me, and I have been wanting for a long time to share more of my journey and my story. And I've come to realize recently that I am really scared to share it, honestly. But it's been really eating at me. And so I'm going to see if I can get through some of that now, at least a part of it, um, so that I could just release it. I did something not that long ago that really broke me open in a really beautiful and expansive way. And that, I would say, is, I listened to my intuition in a way that I don't think I had ever, which allowed me to enter into a new version of me in terms of as a creative, and as a woman who truly just jumped into the message that I was getting, the idea that I had been thinking about, and trust it. And I just went all in, like full all in. And I was really navigating and figuring it out as I went along. I never, there's so many things that I would do differently now, but in the moment I can purely say that it was such an important thing for me to do. I thought the reasoning and the mission and the purpose were just so needed, and so I went forth and did it. And I really kind of, in the journey of building this thing, something that grew massively, much bigger than I thought, something that had an impact in a way that I didn't even know was possible at the time. It made sense, but I didn't know it was possible, and I didn't know that I would be the one to create the change and create the impact. And as things moved, I grew, the ideas grew. I grew as the brand, but I got smaller as the person, I guess I would say, and smaller and smaller and smaller. And so, and I felt it and I internalized it, and I never shared what the person behind the thing was actually experiencing. And yes, there were so much beauty behind it, and so much about it that has shifted me and has helped me grow in so many ways that I'm so thankful for. And I think that because that was also happening, I felt like I wasn't allowed to share my truths and to be really honest about the impact that it was happening, that it was having on me. And so I grew smaller, and I internalized the idea around I could create and I can do huge, impactful things. I can create change in people's lives. I can shift narratives. I can do things that benefit other people, in ways that was a financial gain, was a gain in so many other ways. And I pushed my needs and what I thought as value down. And so although I was doing big things, I started to see my actual self as less valuable because I couldn't pay my bills. And I was sustaining this myself. It was a self-sustained project, and I never really opened up about what it had actually started to do to me and to how I started to think about myself. I had evidence of major accomplishments, but it never translated into what success looked like for me when it came to creation, time, effort. It actually made me think smaller of myself. And that's really hard to say, and I've had to take a lot of time to work on that, to move that out of my mind and out of my body, and to work on seeing myself differently regardless of everything else. But that doesn't mean that I still didn't need and desire things that I felt like as an artist should have when they put in so much work and effort and time and love. During this time also, this has been an 8-year journey, more than 8 years actually. I also realized that I had been someone who created a movement and a community. I had become a caretaker for about 2 years of that time. Part of those times I was full-time caretaker. So all aspects of what would sustain me kind of went out the window. Caretaking was took immense toll on me mentally, emotionally. I'm so grateful that I was in the position to step up in that way for family. Then COVID happened. I was still pushing and still building and still figuring out this huge project that I had created. I was getting calls from people within the community to help them to ideate around this. I was asking and getting so much support from a lot of people in ways of thought partners and people who extended different elements, different things to me in so many ways. Then I decided to take an art project that took a toll in a way that it took over a year for me to really be able to almost properly recover from. And that's even another element that isn't talked about a lot. And so it's been scary for me to open up about, because there was so much joy and so much beauty around the thing that I created, Black Burner Project. And I was willing to take the brunt of all the things that I was experiencing and not open up, so that didn't impact the hopeful further impact that it would have within the community as a whole, and to individuals that were impacted in a beneficial way. But now I'm at a stage where it's been so long for me trying to climb out of this, that I don't think I can do anything else but to share it. And I know this is a bit of, it's a little vague, and doesn't go into the intricacies of how deeply ingrained and how hard it's been and how bad it got for me, and trying to pull myself back out into a space where I feel like I don't even know how to. It's definitely nothing that I regret. But being in this position financially after having done so much, and what I'm so proud of, and still trying to figure out how I can create anything bigger and as impactful, and own the fact that I still deserve to be rewarded in a way that I can do regular grown-up things that I'm supposed to do, like pay my bills and move to a place that feels good, and to have a place to create that is inspirational and motivating, and to just live in comfort instead of in a state of anxiety and fear and worry, I think is something that a lot of artists are dealing with today. And I am going to work up the nerves to talk a bit more in depth about both the beauty and some of my heartache and some of the challenges that I've had to, or that I decided to kind of be mum and quiet about on the on this side, as I tried my best to uplift and go full into something that I know was helpful to others. I know I've shared some of this with really close people, and it's definitely been a hard one to navigate, how to be honest about it. So I know this wasn't the most vulnerable, but it was still hard, and please encourage me to share more so I don't fall back into this fear of being seen in this way, because I don't want to have any harsh feelings towards myself about my own decisions, or, on how I handled this. Just, going in with love and heart and just desire to create and do, and didn't actually line myself up in a way that was helpful and was a little bit more detrimental, and wound up in a space that was a lot darker than I ever expected, and complete and total burnout, where I haven't picked up a camera, I haven't been able to bring in, income, and definitely not consistent income in years, over a year, definitely more than a year. And that's just my truth. And I know it's supposed to be a part of the journey that I am supposed to now open up and share. And I don't know why. I don't know who is supposed to hear it. And I don't know why someone's supposed to hear it. But that's what I'm going to share. And I'm glad I did. Okay. Thanks.